passion fuels purpose, and when it aligns with a mission, it can transform communities. This week on Beyond Her Story, we are proud to introduce Richa Khandelwal Bhat, the dynamic force behind Keshava Productions and Narayana's ArtNirbhar Bharat Foundation. Richa's commitment extends beyond film production, and she is dedicated to fostering economic independence in rural India. Her foundation's mission to make rural India art-nirbhar aligns with the national goal of self-reliance, contributing significantly to empowering communities. Today, let's explore how her innovative projects are sparking change and providing sustainable solutions across India's rural landscapes. Welcome, Richa, to Beyond Her Story on Wonder Woman Wednesday. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Same here, Sneha. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm looking forward to this conversation because there are a lot of topics that I want to talk to you about, starting with your passionate project, the ArtNirbhar Bharat Foundation.
Yeah.
So can you tell us the vision behind this and how is it that you're planning to reach rural India with this project?
Yeah, so Narayana's ArtNirbhar Bharat Foundation, actually, Sneha, is a journey in itself. It started about 7 years back when I had gone to Badrinath in Uttarakhand. I don't know, for some reason, I'm very fond of Badrinath. I actually left New York. I keep telling people this, that, yeah, truly believe me. I left my green card. I made my husband and my daughter leave their green card, come back to India so that I could visit Badrinath often. I don't know, there's some connect. And I went there after a long time and I saw that there was a guitarist sitting there and playing music. So I found that very fascinating that in rural India, in such a remote place, a place that is known for tradition, culture and so on, there is a guitarist sitting there and playing bhajans on the guitar. I found that very fascinating. So then I asked this person, Vipul Mehta, his name is. So I asked him to sit with me and jam a bit. So we were looking for a place to jam. And just opposite to the mandir, there is a hall. Okay. And we thought, okay, let's sit and jam here. But there were like about 20 young men with tattoos and with golden hair and with all that sitting and playing video games on their phones on Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. I said, Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock in cities, young men are working or studying or doing something, going to someplace important. How do they have all this time in the world? So he said, there's nothing to do here. They don't have anything to do here. So then when I dug deeper, I found out that it's only 2 to 3 months a year that they work, and the rest of the year they don't have too much to do because of the season, because of the fact that the mandir closes for 6 months and so on. So the whole idea started from there. And through Vipul, I connected with a lot of young people on Facebook. And I met Shubham Dimri, Anshuman Bhandari, a lot of people who are local youth or youth leaders or artists. And we formed a group called Narayana's the Himalayan Artsy Crew.
Oh, nice.
So we had no idea what's going on. We just kept on following whatever's going on. And we started making these small videos. Okay. Bhajan videos, music videos. We started jamming, whatever it is. And then during COVID, Vipul's mom called me and said that we don't have money to feed children right now because there's no yatra happening. So could you help us in some way? So I thought, giving money won't be the right thing to do, So I thought, being an entrepreneur, let me start a business for them.
Yeah.
So that's how it started, and that's when we formed an organization. We started Tulsi Mala Project, which led to from a 700 rupees poster, it led to an income of almost close to 15 lakh for the villagers of Badrinath. Nice. The village is called Bamni, where I had just been a month back, and it's fascinating how this whole thing is progressing, and I think. Badrinath and our project ArtNirbhar Bharat in Uttarakhand could be the answer for a lot of employment generation problem in rural India, and that is for time to tell.
So, the story is really fascinating because, like a lot of people share their experiences, and from their experiences comes out ideas. I think that's what has happened.
True. Yeah.
What is the vision behind ArtNirbhar now that it has been from Narayana ArtNirbhar?
Yeah. So now that Narayana's is a Section 8 social enterprise, I actually took a course at IIM Bangalore at NSRCell, short course. And during the course, I formulated this entire plan with my husband and my daughter. And we thought, okay, let's put this together And it's been fascinating. In 3 years, we have generated a lot of income through HNI funding and so on. And now that we have our certifications and so on, we can now apply for CSR funding. And the fact that we have successfully created a studio for our artists in Badrinath,
Wow.
a music studio, a
Nice.
small studio with an investment of close to 5 to 6 lakhs. And we have generated projects worth 2 lakhs for photographers. We've generated, from business models, we've generated lakhs and lakhs of income. Almost we are touching close to 35 to 40 lakhs of income for rural people in Uttarakhand through different initiatives, which are their businesses also.
Okay.
So it's not just one-way story. They work with us.
Yeah, I understand.
So we involve the rural people to work with us. We groom them, we train them. And from the village itself, people become managers. They become business owners. And as this is the model. So it's a social enterprise. It's not an NGO. So to say it's a social enterprise. And I think this idea is fascinating a lot of people.
Correct.
It's taking the attention of a lot of people in government sectors, in corporate.
Nice.
We've had a lot of funding from corporates like Sumadura, Infracon. We've had a project from Boeing Aircraft Company. We've also had projects from a lot of HNIs and smaller businesses and so on. And it's really interesting that that the journey is still on. We'll have to see where it goes.
Yeah.
I can't predict. I do think that given the right support, it will go very far. Now we're in talks with an NGO which is working with the disabled people, and they want us to help disabled people become music stars,
something
or business owners, or become ArtNirbhar.
Yeah.
So these things are happening, and I'm sure that with collaborations, with the right kind of partnerships and the right kind of support, we'll be able to go very, very far.
Yeah.
And making rural India #ArtNirbhar. That's the whole idea. Yeah.
I think that's a great thought behind ArtNirbhar, because people normally talk only about education and studies and all that, but there's so much you can do with creativity, art, and all that, right?
Right.
So it really makes it is really a very thought-provoking foundation, I must say.
Thank you. So actually, the problem is at hand, right? See, palayan. If you've heard of the word palayan,
Yeah.
in Hindi, palayan means leaving your village and going to the cities.
Yeah.
That's the problem that Uttarakhand, the state where we are working heavily in, is facing. There are thousands of ghost villages, Neha. Ghost villages meaning nobody lives there.
Nobody lives there.
Nobody lives in the houses. You can only hear sounds of ghosts. Nobody is willing to live in these villages. There are houses, there are farms, all of it exists, but nobody wants to live there because there's no work. So as a result, Uttarakhand has a serious problem of youth leaving their villages and moving to the cities. And as a result, what's happening is that the culture, tradition, legacy, the value system of that place is absolutely eroding. There's so much drug addiction problem and so on. Yeah, there is. In Badrinath itself, I'm sorry to say, there is huge drug addiction problem. And so the whole thought of ArtNirbhar is to enable youth to stay back home, take care of their families, be in their own land, and do some work there. So what we do is we identify rural youth who are artistic, who are creative, and we train them in skills like entrepreneurship, management. But they need to be artistic in some way, or they need to be enterprising themselves. They need to be interested. You can't, can't force them really. So you identify the youth leaders, you identify the dynamic people, and then you train them into running a business of, let's say, bag making, or handicrafts, or candle making, or music production, or something to do with public speaking, or writing, poetry, photography, filmmaking. Skills that people never thought would be marketable. So that's what we're doing, and I think that the model has worked beautifully well. And as time goes, more and more people are coming into the foray and becoming ArtNirbhar, so to say. And I'm just very excited to see how, with maybe if we, let's say this year we get corporate funding, then CSR funding, then how this model that is working at a smaller scale right now would become huge. Yeah. It would become scalable, so to say.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. Yeah.
But Richa, I'm sure that it must not have been easy, doing this in rural India. So what are some of the challenges that you've faced?
I'm laughing because there are some of the challenges. There's so many challenges. Oh my God, it's not been easy. Okay, I'll tell you what. If I had to, my dad keeps telling me, why do you have to go to Badrinath to work? Yeah? Just work in the backyard of Bangalore, no? So, but it's just the calling. It's just what calls you, what inspires you. Correct. Yeah. So I'm a filmmaker and writer, and I think that I'm a crazy nut. And yeah, I just Badrinath inspires me. So the first challenge is to go there. Correct. Yeah. To reach there, it takes me, if I start from Bangalore now, I'll reach Badrinath tomorrow night at 6 p.m. If I travel non-stop without an hour of break. Oh, wow. It's that far. Yeah. True. Yeah. And then it's very dangerous. Correct. Yeah. So people, when I chose Badrinath as the place to work, people thought, ab to ye wapas nahi aayegi. So every time I go there, actually, my parents are like, okay, beta, take care. Yeah. How many times? I go there, like in the past, since I started working, I've been there close to 15 times, I guess, 10 to 15 times. And it's one of that is the biggest challenge, to reach there and to come back. Yeah. Because I choose to also travel by public transport because it's safer. Yeah. On the highways and all. And also the public transport guys, the state transport bus guys, they know when there is a rock falling a kilometer away. So they're very careful, and they are guided by the satellites and by the government orders and all that. So very careful. And I am a mom, and it takes me 2 days to go there, 2 days to come back, and all that. So it's a bit of a challenge. So that's the first challenge, and that is so remote. But it's the thing. It's a calling. I have to do this, and these things I don't know. When anybody starts any social activity, is it not driven by some kind of a passion or some kind of a calling or inspiration? Or something that's beyond your control. Like you're making all these interviews here in the studio. Then it's not like, okay, I will not. I just not worry about it. No, you have to take the pains. You have to do what it takes, right? So what it takes is to reach there. That's the first step. So that's the very difficult step. Yeah. So by the time I reach, I'm like, in few pieces basically. Then I assemble myself. Then again, I'm like ready to start the work. The second challenge is that in rural India, women are women, men are men. Women are supposed to do what women are supposed to do. Men are supposed to do what men are supposed to do. Although I've been lucky enough to have people in my team like Bhumesh Pawar, Vipul Mehta, and people, Vipul's mom, who's really been supporting me and who allowed me to be a part of their community. But as an outsider, as a woman with a bag and a sunglasses and a cap, who's going to talk to you? Who's going to give you their time? Who's going to trust you? You're a yatri, you're a yatri, you're a traveler. You're coming there, you're trying to change the world or whatever. For them it is like, why should we care? Yeah. So that to me was a problem initially, because I also got cheated by somebody of 11,000 rupees. There are all these stories, sisters getting married and need money immediately, this, that, all these things, because they know you're going to go back. Yeah. So I found myself very vulnerable in the environment, and I did not know who to trust, because you have to leave your equipment there. Equipment worth lakhs of rupees. I left my cameras that I had bought in the US and all. I left it there. I said, no, you guys use it. I want you to see, I want you to work with these things. And so on. And I was lucky to find, after initial being cheated and all that, taken for a ride, I was lucky to find the right kind of people in the village. So I was very, very lucky to be like one of the family members of such people and trustworthy friends. So they took care of my equipment, they took care of the company, they took care of the brand, and genuine people I met. And that's the starting point. Yeah. And because, see, you're an outsider to them. Yeah, correct. Yeah. You could have any kind of intentions, So these people, Vipul Mehta, Bhumesh Pawar, Avantika Mehta, all these people, Anshuman Bhandari, all these people allowed me to enter their ecosystem and be one of them. Yeah. Sneha, I'm telling you, for anybody wanting to work in rural India or anywhere, a social cause, it works best if you're one of them. Yeah, very good. Because you understand their problems, they understand your problems. Yes. It's not like, hey guys, I'm here from this city trying to help you become, Correct. But they'll be like, connect with them. You have to connect, you have to genuinely connect. Yeah. And they're very smart.
They can figure out.
They can figure out. They can figure out better than us.
Yeah.
You know, you have all these words. You know, they'll be not looking at your words. They'll be looking at your eyes. They'll check your soul. It's a soul test. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
And I'm growing. Every time I go there, I'm growing. And Badrinath is a place which is all religion, spirituality. There's nothing else other than that. So anybody can see through your soul and tell what are you up to? What are you doing there? So are you there to make money off them? Are you there to really help them? Are you there to just have a good time and go back? So there are so many things that you need to go through to be able to get the trust of the people there. So when we have successfully got the trust, because when we conducted training for the first time in the village of Pandukeshwar, which is the closest village from Badrinath, 100 women came and attended for the very first time.
Nice.
We work with the entire village because we work with the villagers, and we've given every penny in our account. We don't have minimum balance in our account because we give every penny to the villagers, and we make sure that we do the work genuinely.
That's really good to know. And it's like, when we sit here, we don't think about these things, but when you talk about it, you start realizing, things do happen.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So, Richa, now I do know that you are a film director. You're the CEO of Keshava Productions. You've got quite a lot of awards as well. So, how has that helped you in your Narayana's ArtNirbhar Bharat Foundation, and is it closely linked?
Yes and no. I mean, yeah, definitely. Being a filmmaker gives you that madness to explore, to go into a different world. So you go there as a character, you see other people as characters, you see everything as a scene, you see the story, you see the bigger picture, you see the screenplay, you can design the screenplay, you can plan how you want things to turn out, you can identify villains. You can identify the side characters, you can create a story. Sneha, trust me, everything in life is story. So Kenneth Burke, I often quote this. Kenneth Burke said very famously that story is the equipment for living. Without a story in our head, how do we live? Who am I? Who are you?
Correct.
What's our character?
Exactly.
What's the problem in our life? What is the conflict? How am I going to solve the conflict? That's a movie, right? That's filmmaking, right?
Yeah, very true.
So that helped me a lot because I was able to figure my own role here without any confusion. I was able to design my character and then design other people's characters and know what's the story here. And that helped me in moving on with things with clarity. That's very important because once you have said, or once you've started one kind of work, you can't say, oh, no, let me do something else. Oh, no, nobody will believe you because you're so far away from them. So your trust lost once is lost forever. So before you do anything, you need to think a lot. That's what we do in screenplay writing. In filmmaking, that's what we do. Before we reach the location or we reach the shooting location, we need to really, really think through. We need to think through our everything, even costume. Everything has to be thought through. How we talk, what we talk, who are we, what are we representing. It has to be very deeply thought through. And then we approach the set, right, for each of the characters. Similarly, so in also filmmaking, it helped me a lot because I was able to immediately pick up my camera and make some music videos for them. That got us the first level of interest. That got us the first level of activities going when we were not even a company or an NGO. So yeah, definitely filmmaking helps, and we've been able to generate a lot of money because of our photography, filmmaking, documentary filmmaking, public speaking, and all these projects.
So, Richa, as a filmmaker, how do you reach out to national and international audience at the same time with similar kind of stories?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, Sneha, actually, I believe that films are about three things: character, character, character. So, character is so important. The person who depicts the protagonist or the antagonist or the side characters, the world of the cinema around you. There's so much to see. And as a filmmaker, I try to write lesser dialogues. I tend to not depend too much on talking, because I was a news anchor and they used to just talk. So in film, it's great that you can take break from that and you can have characters emote through their eyes, through a twitch of their lips, through through just the fiddling of their fingers. There's so much possibility of having characters express themselves non-verbally, and I really take refuge in that. So that's one way, and I think that if a story is honest, if a story is a human story, then it will travel. It will travel nationally, it will travel locally, it will travel internationally. If the story is communicated honestly, and if it is communicated to the human soul,
Basically, connection.
connect to the human being, then all these things don't matter. Don't we watch Italian movies, Spanish movies, Lebanese movies without really knowing what? Then we love them. Don't we love them? I don't know a word of Malayalam. I have watched Minnal Murli like 18 times. Tovino Thomas is handsome, but the language is sometimes, not knowing a language can be very fun. Yeah, people talking in their language, and we try to grasp what are they trying to say. I, as an audience of foreign films, I hungrily watch films that I don't understand. I love watching films, Chinese films, rural Chinese films. Oh my God, beautiful. Films from rural Japan, because you see them in their innocent best. And for understanding, the archetypal structure of stories, you don't need a lot of knowledge of the language. You need to be a mature soul. You need to see it.
Yeah.
And you get it, that this person, with the cunning eyes is the villain. Yeah. The one with the warm smile could be the hero or heroine. So there are these, human soul has journeyed so many lives, right? 84 lakh योनियां बोलते हैं ना हिंदू धर्म में. So इतने births के बाद we kind of guess it without anyone telling you. Like I was telling, no, in the villages, when you go work there, people are not listening to you talk. They're listening to their eyes.
Yeah. Maybe body language.
Body language. They can get it. Yeah. They can perceive it. The behind the scenes. Yeah. Similarly, in films, I think when I design my stories, I try to, for example, but it's very important to know where is it going to be seen more. If it's a local Kannada film, which I've really never done till now, but yeah, if I know the audience is going to be very local Kannada and so on, then obviously the writing style and the filmmaking style will be very different. But if I know that it's going to be traveling internationally, then one, I keep the dialogues less. Two, I make sure that there are more silent moments in the film, and the actors get to do more work without dialogues. And also through the background, through the milieu, as we call it, the environment, we get to say more. For example, what we place around the characters that defines their situation. And then also, the dynamics between characters, how the framing happens, like maybe a mother or a stepmother being very powerful, standing, and a kid small in the frame, by that itself, the dynamic itself is so powerful. You don't need to really start telling too much dialogue. And then also, what happens is when you use too much dialogue, a lot of attention goes to subtitles.
Yeah, you'll be trying to read.
Yeah. So I just try to stay away from that, or just try to really make it conservative in that sense. But also, I think that there is this beautiful book called Story by Robert McKee, which gives a lot of insight into how to overcome this hurdle of wanting to tell stories internationally and still making sense locally. Yeah, in that book, it's like my Bible, and I read it a lot, and there's a lot of good ideas on that, and I recommend anyone into filmmaking to please read it, get more thoughts.
Okay. Now, coming to your awards and accolades, you have received a lot, and I think one major one which I would like to talk about is for your film Aatma, which you got in Millbrook Festival in Canada, right? So what is that story about, and how did that happen?
So that award was that was that night in Canada. My husband and I had traveled from that film festival where I had actually got the award, and we were coming back, and we were just thinking that was the very first award of my life.
So it has a special.
Oh my God! Out of 200 films from all over the world, and not one being an Indian film, this was truly North American. So there were films from France, from Germany, from England, from everywhere. And out of 200 films, mine was the best documentary. And it was a short film that I just made just like that, just for the heck of it. And it was a film on Bhagavad Gita. And I was at that point really questioning. I've always been a student of Bhagavad Gita and I'm a devotee of Krishna. So I was really questioning, a lot of things. And I was saying, why are people dividing all this land? It's God's land. Like, how can you just mark it and say it's my land? What is the meaning of that? And if you and I have the same soul, like drops of the same ocean, how can I hate the other drop? It's the same thing, right? So it's like maybe also like the keys of the piano, for example. Some is high, some are low. Or also like we're all like people walking in a marathon or running in a marathon. Somebody's behind, somebody's aage spiritually. They'll come up. Yeah. If not now, next marathon they'll come, whatever. So there's so many questions that were in my mind about applying Bhagavad Gita's, sayings to today's life. And that's what I wanted to show and question. And I wanted to do that visually. So please watch it. It's on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, sure. We'll leave the link.
Yeah, so please do that. Thank you for mentioning. It's one of my favorite projects. Every time I've been really intuitive, Sneha. I'm just like, oh my God, this is just out of inspiration. It's been really cool. It's been really like, it's hit the mark. But every time I plan a project too much or overthink or premeditate or put too much technical into it, it's just somehow, I'm realizing it with time and with age. Probably I need to do more of films like Aatma. But that was the film that night when we were coming back from Millbrook, driving back at 12 in the night. It was actually St. Patrick's Day. And I realized that, oh my God, if I can do this, I can do more. And I've often told stories of how there was no job for me in Canada. I wasn't getting any job at all. So that film made me employable. Yeah. That film that award gave me a lot of acceptance, and it drives me and motivates me till today. And every year, through both our companies, we on a freelance basis hire at least 100 people per company. It's all because of that one award, that one accolade. But yeah, I think the first one is a special one, and it will always remain so.
So Richa, it's been an amazing conversation as always, and I have a lot of takeaways. So is there any closing thought that you'd like to tell our audience and our viewers?
Yeah, I think my appeal to everyone is, don't forget rural India. India is rural India. And what you see in cities is such a disconnect from what's going on in our villages. We need to take care of them. We all come from villages, right? We all come from villages, some village or the other. Our grandfathers, we need to have love. We need to have respect. And we need to provide dignity to those who have chosen to be in the villages and not come to cities in search of livelihood. And we need to make sure that we look back and go back to our own villages, our own people, and see, is there anyone there that we could help, that we could make Atmanirbhar, or if you want to do it through us, through artistic fields, can we make them ArtNirbhar? Can we provide them work? Can we create a small business for them? Could we provide them a little, maybe knowledge? Could we, something that will help them? Let's not be so obsessed with making our millions that we forget where we come from, because that's karmic duty, I guess, And I think as Narayana's Atmanirbhar Bharat Foundation, and on behalf of my entire team, which has worked so selflessly all these years, I want to just give one message. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयः। सभी की उन्नति हो, सभी की तरक्की हो, सभी का भला हो, साथ में बढ़ना है वसुधैव कुटुंबकम. We cannot be self-centered. We need to look out. We need to hold each other's hand, particularly rural India, rural youth. There is so much talent. There is so much capability. Give them a chance and see what happens.
I think that's beautifully put. I hope, a lot of people are inspired to do their bit now. And we'll also leave the link to your YouTube channel and your social media handles so people can reach out and see how they can be a part of this foundation.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Sneha. Thank you.